Hey Beardy buddies, welcome back. Today we're starting a new installment of something we like to call Smorgasbeard, which, as it sounds, is going to be talking about food and drink, anything to nourish your beard. And today specifically, we are going to be talking about our need for mead. Do you feel it? So, a couple years ago, I kind of got the itch to kind of brew some of my own beverages, and I guess I did some research and I had talked to some people that had brewed their own beers, and from what I've heard, it requires a little bit of expensive equipment, and even then the end result wasn't great. They said it tasted pretty awful actually. And so I wanted to do something fairly inexpensive without a lot of prep and a lot of setup, but something that I could still enjoy. So upon doing some research, I turned to mead. And mead is fairly easy. You don't need a lot of equipment or a lot of setup. You just need some bottles. I did splurge, I guess you could say, and get some airlocks to use. And we had our first 2 years ago, we made it a kind of a family event on New Year's Day to actually make our first batch of mead, and then we let it sit and ferment for an entire year. Well, the fermentation process took about 3 months actually, and then after that you siphon it off and you just let it age. So, and then on New Year's the next year we tasted it, and I will put a link to the taste testing video in the description below, and decided that it was really good. We liked it. It was easy to do. Decided again this year to make another batch. So the first year the two flavors we made was ancient orange mead and then a strawberry lemonade, which had some tea in it, and that was also really good. And so this year we decided to do two different flavors. And I'll post the recipes for all the different flavors we've tried below, along with some instructions and some videos on how we went about doing it. So this year what we have here sitting in front of us is, this darker one is an elderberry mead and a maple mead, which actually used, along with honey, used maple syrup as well, and we used all natural maple syrup from trees in this area. And right now we are sitting at about a little over 6 months of aging, so they'll be ready around New Year's again. We will actually be in our new house at that time, and we'll be able to try it out there, and we'll do a video at that time of the taste testing, what we think of it, what we like about it, what we don't like about it, and all that good stuff. So why don't you just sit back and enjoy and watch the whole process. In the future, we might, maybe in January when we're ready to start the next two, do a actual how-to on how we go about doing them. And each recipe varies, on how it needs to be done. The other thing I wanted to try at some point was hard cider. That was the other one that doesn't necessarily require a lot of setup. It depends. Like, you can make your own hard cider from just buying some apple juice at the store. What I'd ultimately like to do is get a apple press and actually press real apples and have some fresh hard cider from apples grown on the trees around here. So that's my goal, but I might start with just some apple juice just to see how the whole process works. It's a little trickier than mead in terms of getting the carbonation and the sweetness just right. There's a little pasteurization that might need to be done to kill off the yeast without any chemicals. So all that's a learning process for me. But I thought this would be kind of a cool intro to some of the stuff I've been doing on the sides, aside from all my other projects. And really, it's pretty easy. I mean, you take maybe an hour to get it all bottled and everything, and you put all your ingredients in it, and then you just set it away for about 6 months, just checking on it every once in a while to make sure it's still fermenting, and you can tell by the fact that it's bubbling. And then about 3 months later, then what you do is you actually siphon. So I actually had bigger jugs that I was using. Siphon all of the liquid out and filter it into these jugs is what I did. And I like using the glass jugs over the plastic jugs. But siphon it all out, you can see then it's much clearer. And then I still leave the airlocks on just for a little while. At this point I could probably take the airlocks off and just put the caps on, but the airlocks aren't harming anything. And just let it sit for the remainder of the time. And like I said, I like to leave them sit for about a year. And then I'm to the point now where I almost think that I want to start 2 batches. So 1 batch halfway through the process, and then 1 batch, you know, so every 6 months start a new batch. That way there's more of a steady flow of product instead of waiting an entire year. Because I finished up, I had my other mead, maybe lasted maybe 3 months or so. And then from there till when this is done, so you know, it's a long time to wait in between batches. So it'd be nice to have something that would, you know, last. So you always have some on hand, you know. It was kind of a big hit at Christmas. I brought out the other 2 because we hosted Christmas, and most people haven't even tried mead. I know I never had tried mead before either, and it's a unique taste. It's called a honey wine. It has more of a wine flavor than like a hard cider. But it was a big hit and people really liked it. So I wanted to try new flavors. Obviously I can keep going back to any flavor that I want, and I'm keeping track of all the recipes that I have. So I'll share those with you, and we'll see you in the next installment when this is ready to be taste tested. My wife and I will taste test them. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys then.